Hey, I'm Danielle from Wendell Woodworks, and today I am going to answer an important question that gets asked from time to time. How do I safely finish toys for toddlers? If you've ever encountered a baby or a toddler, you know that everything goes straight into the mouth. So when I'm making a toy versus a sign that just hangs as art, I have to think about finishes that are going to be non-toxic and that will be safe if the child decides to eat it for breakfast. So when making wood toys, you have two options. You can choose to leave the wood natural, or you can choose to paint it to give it some color. Let's start with your natural finishes. I think the first classic go-to is shellac. Shellac has been a go-to finish for woodworkers for ages, and it's made from natural sources like a lac beetle, which make it safe for children. You apply it in thin coats, and the end result is a glossy and durable finish. Another choice, and one that I actually use often, is the linseed oil. I use the linseed oil a lot when I'm making my wood earrings just because it's safe to use with my fingers, just like a walrus oil or another type of mineral oil would be. And though I haven't actually tried this myself, I've read that a lot of people like to mix this oil with a beeswax to give it a really good protective finish. And I actually have beeswax, so I'm gonna try to melt some down and mix it, and I'll let you guys know how that goes sometime in another project. And this works with jojoba oil as well. And like I mentioned, another great choice for natural finish would be a food grade mineral oil. This is the kind of oil that you use on cutting boards, obviously because it's safe for food items and therefore it's also safe for kid toys. It's easy to apply and it looks nice. One specific brand that I have some friends that love to use is WALRUS oil, and it can be used in a variety of projects, not just food projects, not just toys, because it has a really beautiful and durable finish as well. And of course, before applying any of the finish, especially when you're working with a toy for a kid, you really want the surface to be smooth, so use a high grit sandpaper to make sure there are no splinters. And all of these oils are applied in a very similar fashion. You want to apply thin coats, allow proper drying time in between, and give it a light sanding in between coats for an even smoother finish. And what if you want to paint your toy to give it that bright, fun color? Thankfully, there are a lot of really great non-toxic options here as well. You just want to make sure that the paint is water-based and it should have a very low VOC emission. My go-to choice for this that I use option is acrylic paint because it's just cheap, it's easy to have on hand and in a variety of colors. You could apply it thickly, or sometimes I like to water it down to give the wood a more dyed effect, just by mixing it with a little bit of water and applying in thin coats. Some people love to dye the wood. You can really go all in and use only natural food ingredients to dye the wood. In the super cute book, Natural Wood Toys, the author shows how to dye wood using natural ingredients like spinach, turmeric, coffee, and berries. To be perfectly honest with you, I am too lazy for this, but I think it would be a fun and really great option, especially if you're making handmade toys for kids or grandkids. It might even be a fun project to try together. I'll say the link to her book in the description below because it's just adorable and has some great patterns for toys too. If you're wanting something heavier than a dye or just a transparent acrylic, then a milk paint is another really great option. And you have chalk paint. I just finished up a video on how to make this super cute taco toy, and I definitely wanted to give it some color. Chalk paint is another really popular choice for crafting and for furniture projects, but they're not all created equally, so make sure that the chalk paint that you choose is a brand that specifically mentions that it's safe for children's toys. And though it'll be a bit more expensive, it offers great coverage and a nice smooth result. And whatever paint option you choose, shellac, again, is a great way to seal that paint off at the end. Hopefully that helps you guys out when choosing your next finish. And if you want a fun toy project to get started on, you can check out my free pattern and tutorial on the taco toy right here. Thanks for watching, you guys, and happy scrolling.